Hello, everybody. It's Zeidoktor here, and this episode of the typical manga review is being dedicated to One Piece, chapter 852, the Germa failure. And we're opening with our cover is a special request of Robin doing an art show. And yes, this is Robin's typical art. It looks like her her arm pose with Chopper's face, like it's like really weird. And Chopper's sitting there with eating cotton candy, and a bunch of animals are like examining the portraits, taking pictures. And there's also something above from Hidoi Kotosurawa. I don't know what the Tosurua. I don't know. Well, I'll let One Piece podcast figure that one out. But I do love how she's like all decorated and decked out for this. She's got the beret and everything. Anyway, and the chapter proper starts in the Whole Cake Chateau infirmary. And the doctor notes that Reija has tough skin and marvelous healing ability, marveling that these are the modified humans of the Germa, and notes that as long as he rests properly, she'll be able to attend tomorrow's tea party. So let the Vinsmoke know she'll be staying there for the night. As he leaves the guard behind to watch the doors, we see a dripping figure kind of coming from behind, and it turns out to be Sanji. His entry wakes up Reiju, who notices her legs have been damaged. Like the way she remembers is she was walking around the castle, ran into some soldiers that were screaming about an invader, and got caught up in that. The guard has also been tied up. Sanji remarks that she won't be able to remember things properly because her memories have been changed. So he starts to tell her what actually happened. Meanwhile, in the prisoner's library, it's been set on fire. Like he's apparently burning the books is being done to free everybody. And while all the prisoners in the books are like fleeing for their lives and being burned out, Jinbei has a bucket of water specifically for Luffy and Nami. But Luffy's back, still missing a tooth, but otherwise in good shape. Nami's lost a bit of her clothing, so she has to kind of readjust things a bit. Now we think there's out that I get the feeling we've been through something like this before. If she has, I'm not thinking of it. Oh, I wonder if that's a little garden callback. Okay, that's nice. Okay, I like that. Anyway, Jinbei's like, sorry, the only way I could get you out of there was to just burn all the books. Hey, I'm just glad I didn't rip my arms off after all. Thanks, Jinbei. And Jinbei knows that, hey, we first met in the prison, didn't we, Luffy? And there are a whole lot of other prisoners besides just those two in the books. Montour's world of books ability is as infinite as his imagination. Big Mom has a lot of capable underlings. Anyway, Nami's getting her clothes set back up again. It's like, she's wondering why Jinbei's even there. It was like, he explains that the Sun Pirates are also under one of the crews under Big Mom. Of course, which prompts Nami to immediately point out the unconscious opera. Yeah, rebellion, no going back now. So the unfinished business you said you had to take care of on Fishman Island, yep, just took care of it. Anyway, there's a screen for the prisoner library. Go find out what's going on. Jinbei knows they're working pretty fast, but first things first, we gotta find somewhere they can't hide us. At this point, Luffy drops because he's so hungry he's out of energy. Like, Jimmy's like, you can worry about your stomach even now? And I was like, he uses up more energy than most people just existing. It's fine. Not like I said I wanted to eat anything. Because he's remembering his vow to Sanji. He's only going to eat what Sanji makes him. Thanks anyway, Jinbei. But things are looking bad. Both me and Sanji were tricked. I gotta go tell him. So he charges off telling Jinbei to take care of Nami. Of course, I was like, wait, the castle's crawling strong enemies. Did you already forget what happened this morning, for crying out loud? Back at the infirmary, Reiju is revealing that she pretty much immediately believes Sanji. Like, of course, you never deceived me. But thinks she went that far. Like, she did think pudding seemed a little too good to be true and went sniffing around because of it. And Sanji's like, she was going to kill them all, marriage or not, from the beginning. And all that stuff about her just marrying, all that stuff about marrying her just to save Luffy and the others, never would have worked out anyway. Like, Sanji was thinking to himself, he thought he could just smooth all this over by sacrificing himself, but that was just but it's like, what a joke. And even Rage is noticing, like, even our father, for all that he has, seems to have taken this a bit too lightly. But it's for the better. I think the Germa should just die out, here and now. Rage is going to pretend declares she's going to pretend she hasn't heard a thing and let Big Mom's plan play out. The hell do you mean? You'll die too. Oh, worrying about me? I guess that last memory of us is a bit troublesome, huh? There's no need to feel indebted just for me having saved you back then. Just get out of here with the straw hats, Sanji. Of course, Sanji's like, even if he wanted to do that, what about the Baratier? Worry about that after you make it out. If you stay here, you and everyone else will die. Rage is noticing that there's one memory she simply can't put out of her mind. A fight between their parents, where she realized exactly what it meant. Well, but she only realized what it meant much later. And she explained to Sanji that their mother was firmly against making the 4 boys soon to be born into unfeeling machines. And we see them in Rage's memory. It's like, these are my children. If you rob them of their hearts, they wouldn't even be human anymore. And Judge declaring that they let them be monsters as long as they can win wars. I will only give my kids the ultimate power. And they forced her to undergo a surgery to allow for that. But in an effort to put an end to those crazy ambitions, apparently their mother took some kind of drug. One strong enough to react with the manipulated lineage factors of the children inside her. And interestingly, Manga Stream has her name translated as Sola. More on that later. Apparently says that it was all for naught because Yonji, Niji, and Ichiji started showing their signs of superhumanism one after the other, which suggests that the original surgery and operation was a success. All except for Sanji. Because they worry that he might not have done it, but they just let him wait for him to go a bit more. And then they realize that he's showing signs of emotions, doing things like feeding an animal. Like he doesn't have any. And Rage notes at the same time Mother began to weaken before their eyes due to the after effects of that drug. And we see her talking to Rage like, did you know Sanji made a lunchbox for me before? And Sanji's like, you continue to grow into more of a human with each passing day. And then, which freaks out Sanji because it means that he's the reason that her life, like, no, don't you dare think of it like that. Because she reveals that their mother was happy from the bottom of her heart and regretted nothing. We see her talking to Reiju about what Sanji did that day. Like, he's the best kid in the world. Like, geez. Like, both Reiju and the nurse are like, okay. And apparently after she died, like, Judge, like, blamed him for everything that happened. It became even harder on Sanji. Like, we see the brothers mocking him for being a failure, but Reiju's like, you are no failure. The child that Mother protected with her very life. The only one that was born with any real trace of emotion. That's Sanji. That's why you're kinder than anyone. At least Sanji kind of like a shock there. We see, elsewhere we see Luffy, like, just, like, attacking anyone he can come across, demanding to know where Sanji is. I think that's one of Big Mom's other children. I'm not quite sure. Meanwhile, in front of the doors of the treasure hall, like another problem. Apparently, it's Jinbei. He's here inside the castle, and they realize it's a rebellion. And she gives instructions to report the following to all soldiers. If we report any more untoward news to Mama's fickle ears, tomorrow's plans will be affected. Like, this is smoothie now. Like, okay, we do not want to let Mama know about what's going on here. Mama's been waiting for tomorrow's plan for a long time. True. What do you think will happen if it all goes up in smoke? And then that freaks out the guy really badly. So she demands that they seal off all quarters leading to the 4th floor where they are, and deal with the invaders on 3rd or below. Speed is of the essence. I believe killing them may be faster than attempting capture. And then Smoothie's like, okay, fine, I'll give you permission. And back at the infirmary, Reiju is telling Sanji to just forget the Germa and get out of there. They cling too fast to their old laurels. They're nothing but destroyers. The world doesn't need them. What Big Mom wants is our science and technology. She doesn't appear to have much interest in the life of your savior, by the way. And your father and brothers who are currently dangling that floating air sound over your head as a hostage will be dead by come tomorrow. That's what they deserve. They're a bunch of murderers, so let them have it. But Sanji's still like, look, I don't have any special love for these guys. I hate them too, but I don't want you to die alongside them. Reiju notes that she still has some few emotions of her own, but she's been modified such that she cannot disobey Judge's orders. She's an accomplice. And her hands are plenty dirty, so she deserves to die too. And she finally tells Sanji that the bracelets that she put on him won't actually explode. She switched them out for fakes when she put them on him. And with that, he officially has no reason to stay on this island anymore. So get it together, Sanji. Take a hard look at the most important things. You're never going to meet people as amazing as the ones you have now as long as you live. At this point, Luffy's like just still charging through, trying to find where Sanji is. And that's where the chapter ends, and we learn there's no chapter next week. So, damn it. Alright, my one big complaint about this chapter, just going into this next part, the whole bracelets are fake thing seems like a cop-out. Like, they set up all this stuff, and then they pretty much resolve it in one shot. Okay. Looking back, there are some hints that there's kind of like things to work this. For example, Reiju was the one who put the bracelets on him in the first place. And I'm also remembering the fact that Reiju's the one who keeps Sanji from like trying to rip him off too much or setting him off early, which might have given the game away a bit. So at the very least, they don't need to take the bracelets off unless we get some kind of situation where it turns out that they need the key after all. Maybe they're the real deal. They do make a point about Zeph, where apparently like Big Mom's not really worried about them, especially if she gets what she wants in the process. And I believe that, because we've kind of seen how Big Mom is. Like, she's fickle. Like, she was willing to forgive all the stuff Luffy did just because she got the Tamate box and a few other things. So, like, you know what? Screw it. Let them do what they want. And if she gets what she wants from Germa, then she's not going to care about Zeph or Baratier. So, I can believe that. The only people who do will be killed by her hand. So, alright. So I can kind of see it, but it does still feel like a bit of a Deus Ex Machina, like almost like fake drama, so to speak. But at this point, we're all set to go. Everything else set to climax out here. Luffy's charging towards Sanji. Obviously, he doesn't know Sanji's already aware of the danger facing him, but now we know where that lunchbox is going to go. And meanwhile, I don't know what Jinbei's doing here. Like I said, I want to hear more about what he did. Like, what is the business he had to take care of? Because I thought it was just leaving Big Mom's crew, but it sounds like we might have something else going on. I mean, did he get the rubbing of the poneglyph without anybody realizing it, or something else going on? Because I don't know if Jinbei would even know the significance of the poneglyph, or at least the road poneglyph. Besides, that's Brook's thing right now. It'd be kind of cheap if Jinbei got it and kind of made Brook struggles for nothing. So at this point, we kind of get like a timeline of what's going on here, I think, with Sanji's past. So it sounds like Reiju is the oldest one. She wasn't modified to be emotionless like the three boys were, and like Sanji was intended to be. So she was born, then the boys are going to be born. They're going to do the thing to kill their emotions from the womb. Like, holy crap, dude. And the mother tried to stop it by taking the drug and only succeeded with Sanji. Here's the one thing I really took note of in this chapter. The mother's name. Sola. How many people remember the fact that the comic strip, that when we first heard about Germa 66, apparently the heroic marine that fought Germa at every turn was named Sora. And so I'm assuming Sola and Sora are just like manga stream, either forgetting that detail or just doing whatever with it. So now I'm wondering just how that translates over. Like, if the comic strip was about the heroic Sora fighting the Marines, what have we got now that Sora is actually the wife of Germa 66's leader? Did she change sides? Was there some kind of deal going on? What happened there? That's what I want to know. And I didn't realize it was referring to at the time. When Nami said, like, I feel like I've been to this before. But like I said, I literally only realized as I was talking about it just now that was Little Garden. That was a reference to Little Garden. Okay, there we go. So, yeah, I like that. Nami even has to get her clothes fixed up afterwards. So just kind of recap where we are right now. We have Jinbei and Nami doing their thing. I don't know quite what's going on with them yet. Luffy's got pretty much like taking whatever Big Mom servants he has captive and demanding to know where Sanji is. Big Mom is Zeus and Prometheus are fighting Brook in the treasure chamber. Where's Smoothie right outside? Pedro is fighting Baron Tamago, still as far as we know. Chopper and Carrot are in the mirror world trying to find Sanji in them. And she's apparently Carrot's going to come up with some great portraits to find everybody. Oh, I cannot wait for that. I cannot wait for that. I really want to see what I wanted it to be I imagine it's probably either going to be very, very good or very, very bad. Is for it to be drawn very good in a completely different style. So, for example, like there's this comic strip with the Order of the Stick, where it's like the characters are literally stick figures, and there's an episode with some cops that are trying to do a facial portrait, a face composite, that kind of thing, and they come up with like the two characters that they're looking for drawn in a realistic style. Like, you are fired. That's what I want to see, even though I do not expect it. All right, so this whole chapter is about getting Sanji free, and like I said, my biggest complaint is that it seems like it's wrapped up a little too neatly, too quickly here. I don't know. I don't like, even if it's been set up in a few ways, I don't really like it. But whatever. We're getting this moving along, so I can't really complain over much, I guess. Like I said, I want to know more about this whole Sola and Judge relationship thing, especially how it translates to the public story of Germa 66. That's what I really want to know. And like I said, this is turning into a fuster clock so quickly now. I don't know what's going to happen next, beyond Luffy meeting up with Sanji. So I'm excited for that part too. So what I'm going to do for now is I'm going to go ahead and cut the review off at this point. We're going to see in a couple weeks what comes up next. If there's any other points you want to bring up, like I said, hit me in the comments. Hit me on Twitter at sgamer82. That's 82 the number. And until next week, next chapter, see you later, and bye-bye.